Hey, I love that. I'm glad. I think we actually got somewhere. We got Brooks in Johnson City, Tennessee.
Hi.
Hi, Brooks. Thanks for waiting.
How's it going, Matt and Jen?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm a first-time caller, first-time listener. I'm just kind of I was calling because a friend asked me to call, and I'm a theist.
Okay.
Okay.
So I believe in God, and I heard this is the Atheist show, and so I figured I might call you up and debate you a little bit.
What kind of theist?
My friend had a little bit of a debate about where she's an atheist as well, and she said that basically there was a difference between hard atheism and soft atheism, right?
Sure.
Basically, hard atheism being the one where you say that there is no God, and then there's soft atheism where they say, well, I'm not really sure. There's probably not a God, right?
There's a kind of a quick analogy that might clear this up a little bit. If you're on a jury, your only choice is to vote guilty or not guilty. But and not guilty would be atheism, all atheism inclusive. But within the not guilty category, there's also those people in the jury who are convinced that the defendant's actually innocent. It's not a requirement because the burden of proof is for guilt. And that section of people who would believe that the defendant's actually innocent, that would be the hard atheist. I would qualify there. I don't claim absolute knowledge. I just happen to believe, and first of all, atheism is the rejection of theism. I don't believe in a God.
Right.
Hard atheism, what I would put myself in, depending on people's definitions, I believe there are no gods. So I'm in the I believe the defendant's innocent category.
I see. Okay. Well, I wanted to at least come over here and tell you at least why I'm a theist, and at least why I think atheism is wrong in a sense, or at least it doesn't do very much to help us as a race. I mean, because
Okay.
All right. So
what kind of theist are you? I mean, you may be going to get to that. I'm just curious.
Okay. Well, first of all, I must definitely tell you that I am not a Christian.
Well, I'm just. I assume
Okay.
Usually when somebody identifies themselves as a theist, it's nondescript.
Sadly, I believe that Christianity causes a lot of needless destruction and pain and logic, and it really does make us do a whole lot of stupid things.
Okay. So
however, I do believe that we have to that we are here, that we are here as human beings, and we have a point of view in this world, if nothing else.
Oh, I believe that. But I don't see how that's theism. But we're gonna shut up and you can talk.
Okay. So from this point of view that we come into this world and we know nothing about it, we must assume that there is a malevolent deity out there, okay, that is willing to trick us.
What?
Why?
Huh?
Why do we have to assume that?
Because why isn't there? Why couldn't there be?
Should we also assume that there are pink fairies who tie my shoelaces?
Hey, there may be. We may be the Red King's dream.
So basically, you're saying you should believe anything until it's proven wrong.
Right.
So why aren't you a Christian and a Buddhist and a Muslim all at the same time?
Well, that's just it. We might be wrong. So we have to take the worst possible case scenario and prove it wrong.
No, wait. Why should we do that?
Why should we do that?
Yeah.
Because if we can prove that the worst possible scenario is BS, then at least that's not true. I mean, that maybe may have not made much sense here, but what I'm trying to say is that I believe that if the worst possible scenario for us being on this earth is correct, and in my case that's Christianity, that basically means that we're going to have a God that someday judges us based off of our decisions, and if we don't have the right decisions, then we're going to get sent to, well, quote-unquote hell, right? Then we have to prove that that's not the case. Okay?
Why?
Why do we have to prove that's not the case?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if we're wrong and that is the case, then we're screwed.
That's Pascal's wager. That's bullshit.
That's bullshit?
Yes.
Well, okay, so why shouldn't we have to prove that wrong?
The burden of proof is on the person asserting the claim.
Right. Well, it's the person asserting the claim, but the thing about it is they could be right because we don't really know, do we?
Well, then it's up to them to prove that they're right.
Okay, then I'm going to tell you right now that there is a malevolent deity that put us all here, and no matter what you do or what you think, he's going to hang you upside down by your testicles for eternity and poke you with hot sticks. It doesn't matter. You can't get out of it.
I can't get out of it.
You need to prove. Well, the only way out of it is to send me a check for $1 million. Now you need to assume that since that's the worst case scenario, that it's true. So you should have to prove that wrong, right?
Okay, and normally I guess I guess according to a normal thing I would ask you, well, what makes you so right? And so but you don't think that's right. So
no. That's the perfect question. That's the question we say you're not asking. You're saying we need to assume that the worst is true and prove it wrong. And when I challenge you with that, you come back with, well, normally I'd ask you what makes you so right. That's the right question. That's what we're saying needs to happen.
Okay. All right. So in response to that, what I would say is that, okay, well, I'm not quite sure that you're right. So what I'll do is I'll just basically observe. I'll assume something and then ask you questions to that. Like, so for example, I'll say, I believe that there is a deity because I believe that there's a limit to the amount of experiences that I have. Okay, I've experienced everything in my life that I believe to be good. I believe to be bad. I know everything that I know. I know that there's possibly a limit to everything I can know that I can learn with the time that I have here on this earth.
How does that lead to, you just said, there's a deity because there's a limit to your knowledge. How does having a limit on knowledge lead to there is a deity as a conclusion?
Okay, because there is a limit to my knowledge, there's something that's beyond it.
No. That's
are there things that you don't know?
Well, yes. But because something is not known doesn't mean that it's unknowable. And it doesn't mean
because something is unknown does not mean it's not known.
No, because just because something is unknown does not mean that it's unknowable.
It does not mean it's unknowable.
It also doesn't mean that
potentially, right?
And just because
right.
I don't know something doesn't mean there's somebody out there who does.
Who doesn't? Okay.
No, who does?
Do you know for certain that the person sitting next to you right now, Matt? Do you know that Jen is sitting next to you right now?
For certain? Depends on what you mean by for certain, but for the highest possible degree of certainty, I know that Jen is sitting next to me.
Here, I'll do that experiment again.
Okay.
There's an experiment.
Yeah, right. You post that. So basically Matt's probably there. But the thing about it is that may be an illusion.
It could be.
It could be.
You might be wrong.
Yep.
But if our senses are an illusion, if everything we see, if we're just a brain in a vat,
then we're in big trouble.
Well, exactly. And the thing is, we have no basis for even having this conversation.
Right. We have no basis. We don't have no basis for anything.
So all we can know is what we can.
Even if there is a malevolent deity out there, though,
yes,
that is making that happen, and that really sucks if we're brains in a vat.
You know what? I can't worry about that.
Right.
I have no reason to worry about that.
Right. We still exist, though.
Well,
yes.
Right. And you know what? By using my senses and by using critical thinking skills and even the scientific method here and there, I'm able to produce repeatable results.
Mm-hmm.
My senses are reliable, and I can use the information I gain to make predictions about the real world. So on that basis, I conclude that what I'm perceiving as reality is in fact here.
Right, to the limit that the scientific process allows you to do that.
But I don't want to get sidetracked. A minute ago, you said that there's a deity because there's a limit to your knowledge, and I have yet to hear anything that approaches an explanation of how you got. Here's what it is.
Right.
There's a limit to my knowledge. I need this step, and then there is a deity. What's this step?
Okay. The step is that even though we may be able to use scientific knowledge to prove that Matt and Jen are there, the point is that even if the scientific method were wrong and we were all brains in a jar, the fact is that we are still brains in a jar, meaning that we don't not exist.
I agree. We exist. We're done with that.
As a result, we had to come here as a result, something had to give us our point of view. We couldn't just get our point of view on our own. Our point of view was bestowed on us. There's no first cause to our point of view. I'm talking about the first cause argument.
I'm not able to grok what you're saying. Something must have given us our point of view.
All right. Basically what goes on is that there's a first cause to all this. Basically, I could say that my point of view came from being born, right? My parents had sex. But then at the same time, there's a first cause to things because we live.
By
we
point
live
of
in-
view, are you just saying existence with different words?